I have a 2020 Chrysler Pacifica, and this vehicle came with a shelving unit where the spare tire goes. This did not come with a spare tire. I have no idea who thought about this, but it did not come with a spare tire. These vans come with the shelving unit, a spare tire, or a vacuum cleaner. This came with this, and I had no idea it didn't have a spare tire. I bought a spare tire kit off eBay, but it didn't come with the brackets. I didn't know brackets were a thing, so I manufactured my own brackets. I'm gonna show you what I did to get this mounted. These things are really simple to get out. It's got this little plug that goes here. Get a screwdriver, you pop this off, and underneath that there's going to be a little screw. This little screw right here is a Torx 20 bit, and you unscrew two of them, and you get a little plastic anything, and you kind of pry it around, and it's got these little deals on here, these little clips that clip on here, and it pops right off, and you have access to this compartment. I managed to get everything inside the compartment where it needs to go. This is the tire inflation kit. This is the bracket that I manufactured, or the screw actually. And when I got this off eBay, this was broken right here. So that's why this washer is so big, if you will, this spacer is so big so it'll hold it in. And I made a little knob for it. I'll show you how I did that. And this is the bracket that I made for it. This is flat bar with all thread right here screwed on to the vehicle in the original holes that were in here, except for this one. I'll show you how I did all this stuff. This is an original hole here, and in order to center this as best I could, I had to drill one hole here, and I bent flat bar to go around this. I'll show you how I found the center of this right here. So I placed the tire in where it goes. Then I taped a pencil to a stick, and I rode that pencil around the edge, and I held this as straight as I possibly could, and I drew a circle on the back panel with this method. You can see right here there's a circle that goes around. Then I guessed where the middle of that circle was. The original factory brackets come also with this little sloped metal piece that goes here. I had to manufacture that so I could set the tire on top of this so it would raise it up to the distance where it would fit inside this space. And that was kind of a guesswork kind of situation, but that's my tire support that's shaped like the original one. And I had to cut holes in it, and it fits onto the original screw brackets that go in there, and this tire will sit on top of that. This is what I used for the template. It is a wire. I think I got this from a hardware store. I think this is the wire you tie rebar together when you pour concrete, but I've had this for 100 years, and I got a piece of that, and I just laid it in here, and I just bent it to where I thought the bracket should go. So this is my template. Before I made this, I bent this around and I fit it in, and I moved this back and forth until I found the center of my circle, well, that crossed the center of my circle, and I use this as a template to bend this piece of flat bar. This is my first attempt right here to make a bracket, and the material was too thick, and I went down to an inch. This is an inch and a half, this is an inch. I don't know how thick it is, but what I did is I just simply laid my template onto my part. I just marked it with my pencil, and I just followed my curve around on how long that I needed my part, and then I marked it and I put it in a vise and I bent it, but I used this smaller material. So I clamped my part into the vise, and I have my line, my pencil line where I marked for my template, and I hold my template on here, and I say I need to bend it here at whatever degrees that is. So I made sure my part was square to the vise, and then I just pulled it down and bent it. And then I followed the template that I made all the way around until I bent my bracket completely. That's how I made the bracket. After I bent it, I had to adjust it a little bit because it wasn't perfect. You know, one bend was a little bit too much and one wasn't enough kind of thing. And I got it to fit. I held it up, I marked it with a pencil, drilled my holes, and mounted it into the vehicle. Then I went and got some all thread, just like this, to find the center of this hole, the round circle that I drew on previously, I just leaned down and I looked straight on it, and I just drew where I thought that circle would go. And then I put some all thread in there. There's a lock washer on this side, on the other side, and I didn't use Loctite, I didn't have any. I forgot to buy some and I wouldn't go back to source, so I just double put 2 nuts on each side to make it tight. And then now this thing is in the center and it comes out where it needs to be. I just put the jack right there. Originally the jack goes on the bracket that goes up here, and since I don't have one of those and I don't know how to weld, that's how I did it, and it seems to function just fine right there. Originally when I put this in here, I just guessed and I just cut the all thread just so I could not have so much sticking out. And the way that I got it exactly is I put a straight edge up against here, I marked it with a permanent marker, took it off, cut it, then filed this down so I could put my screw on there. And I'll show you how I made the square and this little nut thing that goes on to hold everything in there. To do the square, all I did was simply measure it and just cut this on the table saw and rounded the corners, so when this goes in here, the corners don't cut into this styrofoam-y, whatever this stuff is, because it's already messed up. Like I said, the reason why I made it so big is because it's all wallered out from, I don't know whoever had it before me. That's how I made that little guy right there. This hole isn't exactly centered because I didn't get the rod coming out exactly centered, so I had to make this hole a little bit offset. So when I put it on, the rod will come through it, and that's why it says up. I know that's going to be up. On the outside it goes just like that. Then the way I made the knob is I used a compass. I drew a circle, cut the circle out, then I set it on the side of a board about the same thickness, and I just got the compass and I marked it, and then I drilled my hole. One hole's bigger than the other. This one hole is bigger than this one. I put my nut on there and I tapped it with a hammer and marked it. Then I got a chisel and I chiseled in where that nut will go, and that's how I got this knob. This is the original spacer that I made, and this knob was thicker. I had to cut it, I had to make it smaller. The reason why I had to do that is when this thread was coming through, it was too fat and it was sticking beyond this profile here, and I couldn't put the tire pump kit in there. So I used a smaller piece. This is plywood. Plywood's good to use for this kind of stuff because it's laminated together and it's cross-grained, so it's a little bit stronger. So now when I put this on here and it's all screwed down, it's at the level of this. So when I put the pump in, it fits and stays. The only thing I have to do with it is just get a Velcro strap that goes around through here and strap it. The original one wasn't Velcro, some kind of plasticky thing. Didn't come with that, so I'm going to just use a Velcro one from Hobby Lobby or something. So that's how that deal came out. And that's what I had to go through to make the bracket for this spare tire. So this sits flush, and this will fit inside here, just like that. And I ordered an original cover off eBay that'll cover this back up. You may be asking yourself, why is this on a woodworking channel? Well, there was a little woodworking in it, but the primary reason why is my main function is to repair furniture and to build custom-made furniture, and I need that vehicle to transport materials, furniture. I can pull my trailer. I can use it in inclement weather on bad days. That's why I put it on my channel. Somebody might run into the same issue, and that's how I solved the problem.